long silver thread of the Stuart Highway stretches out over the semi-arid terrain of central Australia, and is for most of us a true lifeline between civilization and the brutal realities of the harsh Australian outback. Dotted along its entire length, there are sanctuaries of respite of one kind or another, and the Devil's Marbles Hotel is at the oasis resort end of the spectrum, equipped with all the resort luxuries and a camping ground for those who want to rough it. I like the palm trees. But closer to the other end of the spectrum is this fairly basic rest stop, equipped with picnic tables, rubbish bins, and a water tank powered by an old-fashioned windmill. Here's the dirt road I've been travelling on for the last kilometre. It turns out that, these roads get destroyed by water. Aside from the occasional unexpected road detours due to flooding, the other unexpected thing in the Northern Territory were the fields of termite mounds, such as this one. They would pop up intermittently along the highway, and when they did, there were acres and acres of them, sometimes stretching for kilometres. They ranged anywhere from just a few centimetres to often 5+ metres in height, and at times looking like Gaudi-inspired cathedrals, but more often smaller and very human-like, so much so that people would get a kick out of dressing them up in hats and scarves and t-shirts. My next pit stop was Tennant Creek, or Junkurukur in the native Warramunga people's language. It's the 7th largest town in the Northern Territory, with a population of more than 3,000, over half of which self-identify as Indigenous. It's also the site of the last gold rush in the 1930s, and at that time, the 3rd largest gold producer in Australia. I spent no more than half an hour in Tennant Creek, just long enough to do some shopping at the local IGA, then fill up on fuel and use the men's room. It was so funny that the key was attached to this big plastic lizard as a reminder to return the key. I guess after draining the lizard? It was in 1860, on his 4th attempt to cross the continent from south to north, that John McDowell Stuart and his 2 companions, William Keckwick and Benjamin Head, reached Tennant Creek. It was as far north as they would get on this attempt, before having to turn back on account of hostile natives and ill health. This plaque was erected in 1960, 100 years later, in honour of their courageous effort. After checking out the Stuart Memorial, I quickly hopped back in the car, and I was about to take off when this fella came and checked me out. At a guess, I think he was a brown falcon, hunting for his next meal.
Politics happens, marriages.
It was already 2:30 in the afternoon, and I still had nearly 400 kilometres of road between myself and Daly Waters, my final destination for the day. So with 1,200 kilometres between Barrow Creek and Darwin, I knew I needed to do some long hours behind the wheel if I was going to deliver the camper van to the rental company by 3 p.m. the next day and still avoid driving at night. It was going to be a long day. As the shadows will tell you, it was late in the day and I was knackered. The thought of staying the night at this quiet little rest stop was really appealing. But with now only 79 kilometres to go, about 50 minutes, I hauled my ass back into the van and hit the road for Daly Waters. What the hell's that? The rental company had warned me not to drive at night or dusk, and this was the reason why. The kangaroos and emus were dangerous enough as it was, if you were unlucky enough to hit one. But imagine hitting one of these head on. I can't imagine you'd fare well. Stock animals like cows, sheep and water buffalo were a real danger up here in the top end. Oh my God. Watch out for cows and buffalo. Shit. Yeah, nah, I didn't hit a water buffalo. Just my natural resting face after 10 hours on the road. Mark and Jono had told me the night before in Barrow Creek that Daly Waters was the place to be if I wanted to have some fun. From the sound of it, they weren't wrong.